All right, what's going on, you guys? What's going on? Welcome back to today's Sunday market breakdown session. So we're finally back to it. I know these past couple of weeks I haven't been being on top of it for the month of January, but I'm like, you know what? Let me make sure I'm back, getting back focused and getting back on track for the month of February. Right. So here we are with the first official breakdown for this week. I know the last video I posted on YouTube was more catered to US 30. I talked about the main US 30 setup that I took, the main US 30 setup that I caught in the center chat. So I was like, you know what? We're going to switch it up today, and we're going to switch it up and focus on what SPX500 is doing, how the market is actually playing out over here, right? So if you want, just apply the same principle to the US 30 pair if you trade US 30, but if you trade SPX500, then this video is for you, as well as, of course, you guys should already know this by now, but feel free to just join the free signals chat as well, because later on this week, I probably will drop a couple setups on for everything that I'm looking for overall. But for right now, let's go ahead and delete everything. Let's talk about what am I looking for from a technical perspective. So last week, we were having a lot of, well, we can just go from like the past data from left to right. So when I rewind this chart all the way back to like right here, what do we see? We finally have an area that could play as our resistance level, our key resistance level for January going into 2024. As we already talked about for 2024, like going into this year, this was originally the highest point in the market that we ever saw, like going into like out of 2023 to 2024, and then it just kept making new highs. So this is kind of like the market was showing us that we're getting into our uptrend indications on the charts, right? Like it's constantly making higher lows, constantly breaking new highs, setting new records, and so on and so on. So if we're going based off like the past data that we just saw over here, like at the end of January, so we got our highest point. We saw here at one point, this became like a zone that it was playing in, sideways market going back and forth. It broke out of that zone, came back for a retest, then it dropped again, creating lower high momentums to potentially set us up for downtrends. But we knew ultimately that in order for us to really consider this like a full strong downtrend move, that it would have to break like really somewhere down here or really all the way down here to really show us that it's ready for those reversals, right? So as we go ahead and play on this, and actually I can really come to the 4 hour here, but we can stick on the one. So here was the support level. Here was the main key higher low area right here. And then this is like kind of like last week where we saw the market hit that support and just really broke out back to the main resistance, right? So had our sales, came back to support, came back inside the zone. So ultimately just went right back in that same bullish momentum that we have been seeing since the month of January, right? So as we're looking at the markets for today, or should I say for the week so far, it's kind of like that same scenario. We're trying to see where is the market, where's going to be the sweet spots in the market where it's either going to set us up for ourselves or it's going to set us up for our buys. All right, based on what I'm looking for on the charts, the main two like key areas I'm looking for. So one, for starters, this zone isn't valid no more. I'm gonna bring my price right here at 49.41 because this is the last area that it started consolidating and creating a mini zone. So I have a mini zone right here off of this stretching, right? So this is like the main two sweet spots that I'm going to be looking for. What is going to happen when the market comes back to the zone? Is it going to come back inside the zone and close? Or is it just going to come to the zone, give us a retest, and then bounce right off of this and then go for another buy? And then if it does come back inside the zone, I see a sweet spot being right here at this support level, because at the end of the day, this support level right here was the last key price level where it hit. It took off for the buys again. This is actually on Friday, I believe. Yep. Friday, the market sold off when the news dropped. And then like pumped for the sales and then immediately took off for the buys for the breakouts again. So like these two price areas right here are going to be my two key levels that I'm going to be waiting to see how does the market react when it comes back to these prices. So either we can look for buys off of this zone, like if it continues with the uptrend, cool. Break, retest, take buys. Or it's going to break, come back inside, and then look for the buys here. I think, You know what? Actually, later on this week. So this is the videos I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be like kind of like my idea approach of what I'm looking for. And then in the free sentence chat is when I'm actually gonna give y'all the actual trades on the day, on a day-to-day basis of like when I'm actually in it and when the market's actually there. So like these are my two scenarios that I want to see. Um So either retested the zone and then a break with the continuation of the uptrend, or we might see the market make its way back down here to retest this key support level. And then from here, we'll see like the continuation of those uptrends, right? And since this was, I think, since it's a main one, I'm gonna give y'all hmm, I'm gonna give y'all a buy entry on this one because this would be like a main entry. But the only third option that I can see, so let's say it does come back inside this zone. Looking at this would kind of ugly be like an ugly head and shoulders pattern. So this would be like the left shoulder. This would be the head where the market broke out of the zone. And then here's the market coming back inside the zone. And then because this was a previous support level, bounces off of this level to come back to this resistance level, previous resistance. And then from here, we're going to find out if this is a price trap. If this becomes a price trap, and it fails to close outside the zone again, then you guys can look to take sales inside the zone back to the downside to right here to this stretcher. So in a sense, excuse me, this chart right here is kind of like the play-by-play of what could potentially and most likely will happen. So preference will technically be if it's a strong uptrend and sticking with the uptrend, cool. Really, you should just do this break, retest, take off the buys. But we know sometimes the market can be complicated. Sometimes it doesn't want to move how we want it to move. It's going to move how it wants to move, right? But this is a scenario that I can see play out. Sales here, fake breakdown for the buys. Market comes back to support, buys probably throughout the night or something to retest resistance. Price fails to break. And then all of a sudden the market tanks again for the sales back to the same support level that it found on Friday. And then from Friday, take our buys like once it starts to push up and give us like a bullish engulfing candlestick or something. And then look for the continuation for the buys. This scenario right here looks clean and looks like something that's happened in the market before. Like I remember the other night, it's crazy. This might it ain't gonna sound weird, but it's crazy because like the other night I had a dream, right? This is how you know you be on the charts 24/7 like this. In my head, like I was mentally thinking about like different because I've been focusing more on like the candlestick patterns and price action lately, like a lot more heavier than I usually do. But understanding the candlestick patterns, understanding like the different like in my brain, like while I was sleeping, I was processing like that's not crazy. Now that I'm thinking about it, like talking about it a lot, like that's not really crazy for real. I was processing how like the market moves, like when they give you a drop, when it goes to the sales, oh, it's pulling back, but it fails to close higher. Cool. It drops again, like this literal setup, something like this, where it's constantly doing that pullback and showing you the momentum, showing you like creating lower highs, creating higher highs, creating higher lows, creating lower lows. When it's showing you the scenario, how are you going to adjust? So right now I'm looking at this on a 1 hour. If you want to approach it on the 1 hour, you can. Or I would say the lowest you can go on this is the 15. Apply that same concept to the 15. 15 might be easier to see for you, but the 1 hour will make you more patient and more disciplined. So I'll leave that to y'all personal preference on how y'all want to do it. So like on the 15, cool. We see these candlesticks come back inside. It starts to sell, bet. We wait for the next pullback to create a lower high, give us a price trap, and then a continuation of the downtrend. Let's see if I can like, it'd be nice if I could find an example of this. It kind of did it here, which is actually pretty crazy because it's kind of the same scenario. So this is last week, right? Last Friday, the market broke out for the buys. And then what do we have here? This is Friday. Hold on. So Friday, market broke out for the buys. It already like it broke out the zone. This was the left shoulder. It pulled back one last time for the right shoulder on Friday. And then it took off for the sales, right? But obviously the gap came. So I don't want to use that one for example. This is kind of like a similar pattern you see in like the head and shoulders patterns on this. But now that I'm looking at it, SPX500 with the head and shoulders might actually be a thing. But you see, like every time, like areas where cool, it broke out of a zone, but it sold, came right back inside the zone, gave you a pullback to that price trap area, and then went for another sell before setting you up for the buy move that you're actually looking for. Because even if somebody took buys right here, they could have just been holding this trade for the long run and never came back to their entry area. Well, their entry area ended up playing as support. So that if they wanted to swing the trade, that one trade from here all the way up here, they could have, right? And that's going to be kind of like that same approach that we're going to look for over here to the right of the chart for SPX. So push down, pull back, right price trap, enter buys again, boom, take to the upside. Or kind of what we saw to the left, sometimes we might see something clean like this, or it might be one of those ugly ones where it just comes for the sales first, fully here, then fully go for the buy, then fully retest the sales again for another buy, creating a double bottom pattern. And for those that don't know, a double bottom pattern is an indication that the market is about to get ready to go bullish, right? And then once again, that sets us up for the buy. So only reason why I've been talking so much bullish talk, buy talk, is because at the end of the day, the market is in an uptrend. Until it starts going sideways and setting us up for the downtrends, then I'm only gonna focus on sticking with the trend until the market is ready to switch us up. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this helps. So feel free to leave a comment down below if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns. If not, I'll catch y'all in a free chat, or I'll catch y'all in the official Signals chats. But without further ado, we're out of here. Peace out, y'all.